let's say there are two businesses who offer the same service to the same people. They both do a 1 week email marketing campaign to sell their new product. But one of the businesses winds up getting twice as many sales as the other. So, my question to you in this hypothetical scenario are what are the three biggest things that the one that succeeded did differently that led them to succeed and the other to fail?
Absolutely. Great question. So in this case, I bet the winning brand did three things differently. The brand that generated more revenue. The first thing is they probably studied, if they had the luxury of this, they probably studied what past promotions have already generated sales for that particular product or service to that particular list. So that might, if they had the luxury of having emails that have sold before, that's a great starting point. That leaves a lot of clues because yeah, I find the best proxy for determining what's going to work next is what's already worked. So that's a big one. And then the second piece is they probably sent a higher volume of emails versus the other brand, not just to have more impressions and just more like the sheer math, like more likelihood
Mhm.
of generating sales, but also to cover a wider surface area of the sales argument versus what you could only get across in a few emails. And because I find, like, simply put, the more you mail, the more you're willing to email, the more you'll tend to make. And in a lot of cases, it's not always the case, but I have found that to be the case. And I feel like that's a bit of a cliche among email marketers and copywriters. But one nuance that I think is important to highlight is that by only sending a couple of emails, you're actually putting a lot of pressure on each one of those emails to do a lot of persuasive heavy lifting. And what happens then is that it best case scenario, it might end up coming across as a little bit overly salesy because you do legitimately need to cover the whole argument. And then also it can sometimes be distracting because each email will need to focus on a number of different disparate ideas versus if you spread it out over more emails, each email can focus on one idea. So it's more enjoyable to consume, more easy to understand. So that I would say simply sending more emails, covering varied elements of why they should buy is a big difference maker. And then the third thing that the winning brand probably did differently is to ironically focus more effort on upfront research on the reader and making the offer, like how they're framing what they're selling, more appealing, put more effort on that than they spend wordsmithing the actual emails. Because, this is not very tactical, but I think it's a crucial mindset reframe because, like, a lot of the research does the heavy lifting. Like, knowing what to say, I think, is a little bit more important than knowing
Mhm.
exactly how to say it.